The Great Hall of Varkesh Prime was built to remind every visitor of their place in the galaxy. Its ceiling was so high that clouds drifted beneath it, held in place by slow-moving gravity fields. Pillars carved from black crystal rose like mountains. Along the walls stood statues of alien kings and conquerors, each one larger than life, each one crushing smaller figures beneath their feet. Most of those crushed figures looked human. Today, humans stood there in real life. They were few. Only 5 representatives from the Terran Union had been invited to the summit. They wore simple uniforms, dark and clean, with no gold or glowing symbols. Compared to the gathered alien rulers, warlords, and nobles, they looked small, fragile, temporary. That was how the galaxy saw humans. On the highest throne sat King Tharok of the Varkesh Dominion. His body was massive, covered in layered armor-like skin. His eyes glowed a dull red, and his long tail rested across the steps of the throne like a warning. He had ruled for 3 centuries, conquered dozens of systems, and broken entire species into servants. He looked down at the humans and smiled. "So," Tharok said, his voice amplified by the hall itself, deep and mocking, "these are the creatures who claim they deserve equal standing." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some laughed openly. Others watched with curiosity, like scientists observing weak animals. The lead human diplomat, Ambassador Elaine Moore, stepped forward. She was older, her hair silver, her back straight. Her voice did not shake. "Humanity seeks cooperation, not conflict," she said. "We have honored every treaty placed before us. We have defended shared borders and saved alien worlds from extinction events. We ask only recognition." King Tharok leaned forward. The floor beneath his throne cracked slightly. "Recognition," he repeated. "You live barely a century. Your bones break easily. Your ships rely on borrowed technology. You survive because stronger species allow it." The crowd rumbled in agreement. Elaine did not look away. "Strength is not measured in years or size alone." That made Tharok laugh. It was a loud, cruel sound. "Then let us measure it properly," the king said. "Let us test this human strength." His eyes swept over the human group, stopping on one man near the back. The man stood still, hands behind his back. His uniform marked him as military, but there were no medals on his chest. His face was calm, almost tired. His name was Captain Daniel Reyes. He had not expected to be noticed. Tharok pointed a clawed finger at him. "You, step forward." Daniel obeyed without hesitation. Each step echoed in the massive hall. He felt thousands of eyes on him, measuring him, judging him. He did not raise his chin or bow his head. He simply stood. "You are small," Tharok said. "You are weak, but you dare to stand in my hall." Daniel met the king's gaze. "I stand where I am ordered to stand." That earned another wave of laughter. Tharok's smile widened. "Good, then you will stand in my trials." The laughter grew louder. Ambassador Moore turned sharply. "King Tharok, this summit is mine," Tharok interrupted, "and so are its rules." He rose from his throne, towering over everyone. "My people value honor," he continued, though his tone suggested the word meant something very different to him. "Once long ago our kings proved their right to rule through trial, strength, endurance, will." His gaze returned to Daniel. "I challenge your species to those same trials." Silence fell. Elaine spoke carefully. "And if we refuse, then the galaxy will know humans admitted their weakness," Tharok said, "and treaties will be reconsidered." That was not a threat. It was a promise. Daniel felt the weight of it. If humans walked away now, worlds would burn later. "What are the terms?" Daniel asked. The crowd quieted again. Many did not expect the human to speak. Tharok studied him. "You will face 3 trials alone, against my champions, against my laws, against death itself." He paused, then added something that made the entire hall stir. "And if you win," Tharok said slowly, "my daughter will be yours." Gasps spread like shockwaves. At the side of the throne, a tall alien woman stiffened. Princess Sarilith of Varkesh was known across the Dominion as a master tactician. Her armor was ceremonial, her eyes sharp. She had never been spoken of as a thing to be won. She turned to her father. "You did not consult." "I do not need to," Tharok snapped. "Royal law binds my word." He looked back at Daniel, amusement burning in his eyes. "Do you understand what I offer, human? Status, power, a royal bond no human has ever touched." Daniel did not look at the princess. He looked only at the king. "And if I lose?" he asked. Tharok's grin showed sharp teeth. "You die, simple, clean, entertaining." The hall waited for the human's response. Daniel thought of Earth, of colonies built on harsh worlds, of people who worked, struggled, adapted, of soldiers who held lines not because they were stronger but because they refused to fall. "I accept," he said. The sound that followed was not laughter this time. It was surprise. Princess Sarilith stared at him. She searched his face for greed, fear, or pride. She found none of it. The first trial began immediately. Tharok believed in momentum. Daniel was escorted through corridors deep beneath the palace, down into an ancient arena carved into the planet's crust. The air was hot and heavy. Stone walls bore marks of claws, blades, and energy burns from centuries of trials. Alien spectators filled the tiers above. Screens across the galaxy lit up. This was not just a test. It was a spectacle. Princess Sarilith watched from a private balcony, her arms crossed tightly. She had seen hundreds die in this arena. She had never seen a human enter it. A horn sounded. The floor shifted. From the far end of the arena, a massive gate opened. Heat poured out. Lava glowed beneath a cracked stone surface. The trial was called the Walk of Endurance. No weapons. No armor beyond basic clothing. The challenger had to cross the arena while gravity, heat, and exhaustion increased with every step. Varkesh champions usually lasted minutes. Humans, the crowd believed, would last seconds. Daniel stepped forward. The moment his foot touched the arena floor, gravity doubled. His knees bent slightly. He adjusted. His boots sank into hot stone. Sweat formed instantly. The heat was intense, pressing into his skin, burning his lungs with every breath. "Begin," Tharok's voice echoed. Daniel walked. Each step felt heavier than the last. His muscles screamed as gravity increased again. The air shimmered. His vision blurred at the edges. Aliens laughed at first. "Look at him struggle. He will collapse soon." But Daniel kept walking. He slowed, yes. He adapted his breathing, short steps, controlled pace. He did not rush, he did not panic. Princess Sarilith leaned forward. Minutes passed. Gravity tripled, then quadrupled. Stone cracked under Daniel's feet. His shoulders trembled. His hands clenched. Still, he did not fall. Memories surfaced in his mind. Marches under heavier packs, training in deserts where heat killed the careless. Long nights where stopping meant death. Humans were not built to be strongest. They were built to endure. Halfway across, Daniel stumbled. One knee touched the ground. The crowd roared in approval, but he did not collapse. He rested his hand on the stone, pushed, and stood again. The laughter faded. At the far side, the exit gate waited. Daniel took one step, then another. When he finally reached the edge and crossed the line, the arena went silent. Gravity released instantly. Daniel collapsed to his hands and knees, gasping. His body shook, but he was alive. A tone sounded, clear. Final, trial 1 completed. Princess Sarilith felt something unfamiliar tighten in her chest. Up above, King Tharok's expression hardened. His amusement was gone, replaced by irritation. "A fluke," he growled. "Nothing more." But across the galaxy, screens replayed the image of a human standing where he should not have been able to stand. And for the first time, the galaxy began to wonder. The second trial loomed, and the king no longer smiled. The silence after the first trial did not last long. Across Varkesh Prime, the great screens replayed the moment again and again. A human, bent under crushing gravity, refusing to stay down. Commentators argued. Some called it luck. Others said the trial must have been weakened. Very few admitted the truth. Humans endured. Captain Daniel Reyes was taken from the arena on a simple transport platform. Medics checked him quickly. His muscles were strained, skin burned, lungs raw from heat, but nothing was broken. He refused pain suppressors stronger than basic treatment. He wanted his mind clear. Princess Sarilith watched from a distance as he was treated. She had expected to see fear in his eyes after surviving the first trial. Instead, she saw focus. "You should not have survived," she said quietly when she finally approached. Daniel looked up. "People say that to humans a lot." She studied him. "You do not look pleased." "I'm not here to be pleased," he replied. "I'm here because walking away would cost lives." Her eyes narrowed slightly. "You believe my father would attack your worlds." "I believe he would if it suited him," Daniel said simply. Sarilith said nothing. She did not deny it. High above them, King Tharok watched with growing anger. The first trial was meant to end the matter. Now the galaxy was watching more closely than ever. "Prepare the second trial," he ordered. Immediately. The second trial was called the Hunt. Daniel was not given time to fully recover. That, too, was part of the test. He was taken to a vast artificial jungle beneath the palace. Towering alien trees blocked out the sky. Thick mist crawled along the ground. Sensors and hidden cameras followed every movement. The rules were simple and cruel. He would be hunted. 3 Varkesh champions entered the jungle after him. Each was larger, faster, and stronger than any human soldier. They wore light armor and carried traditional weapons. Daniel was given nothing but his uniform and a small water pack. He had one objective: survive until dawn. The horn sounded. Daniel moved immediately, not forward but sideways. He broke line of sight, forcing the hunters to spread out. He listened carefully. The jungle was alive with sound, but not all sounds were natural. Princess Sarilith watched from the control chamber. She knew the hunt well. It favored brute force and speed. Her people excelled at it, but Daniel did not run like prey. He moved like a problem solver. He tested the ground before putting his weight down. He avoided paths that looked too clear. He memorized patterns in the mist vents and thermal currents. The first champion found him within an hour. The alien burst through the undergrowth, roaring, blade raised. Daniel did not try to fight head-on. He rolled aside, letting the champion's momentum carry him forward. Daniel grabbed a hanging vine and swung upward, avoiding a fatal strike by inches. The crowd watching expected him to be cut down moments later. Instead, Daniel vanished into the upper branches. The champion roared in frustration. Daniel climbed higher, ignoring the pain in his muscles. He stayed above, moving slowly, staying quiet. He waited. Hours passed. The jungle grew colder as artificial night approached. Daniel used leaves to mask his heat signature. He rationed his water carefully. Hunger gnawed at him, but he ignored it. Another champion tracked him by scent. This one was smarter, more cautious. Daniel noticed disturbed foliage before he heard footsteps. He set a simple trap using fallen branches and a loose vine. When the champion lunged, the ground gave way slightly. It was not enough to kill or trap, but it was enough to slow. Daniel did not attack. Instead, he fled again. Princess Sarilith frowned. "Why does he not strike?" she asked one of the observers. "Humans are weak in combat," the observer replied. "He avoids engagement." But Sarilith saw something else. "He is conserving," she said, "not avoiding." Near midnight, the third champion cornered Daniel near a ravine. There was nowhere left to run. The alien smiled, confident. Daniel raised his empty hands. "I surrender," he said. The champion hesitated. In that moment, Daniel moved. He dropped suddenly, grabbing the champion's leg and using his own weight to pull them both forward. The alien stumbled. They fell toward the ravine. At the last second, Daniel grabbed a root embedded in the rock wall. The champion did not. The alien fell, not to his death, but far enough to break bones and end his hunt. Daniel stayed hanging there, muscles screaming, until rescue drones arrived. Dawn broke. The horn sounded again. Trial 2 completed. The reaction across the galaxy was louder than before. This is deception. He never defeated them. He survived. That was the rule. King Tharok crushed a stone armrest with his claw. He turns our own laws against us, he snarled. Princess Sarilith felt something shift inside her. This human did not win by overpowering her people. He won by understanding the rules better than they did. As Daniel was brought back, he collapsed from exhaustion. This time, he accepted medical help. When he awoke, Sarilith stood beside him. "You risked your life to save one of my father's champions," she said. "He was injured," Daniel replied weakly. "Didn't deserve to die for a show." She searched his face again. Still no pride. "The third trial," she said, "will not be like the others." Daniel met her gaze. "None of them were." Sarilith lowered her voice. "My father is angry. He believes you have embarrassed him." Daniel nodded slowly. "Then the next trial will be worse." She hesitated, then spoke the words she never thought she would say to an outsider. "He may cheat." Daniel closed his eyes briefly. "I assumed that from the start." That surprised her. "You still continue?" she asked. "I have to," Daniel said. "If I die, humans become a lesson. If I live, maybe we become a warning." Sarilith turned away, conflicted. Above them, King Tharok prepared the final trial in secret. It would not test endurance. It would not test survival. It would test obedience. And it was designed to ensure the human never walked out alive. As the galaxy waited, the balance between mockery and fear began to tilt. Humans, it seemed, were not what they had been told, and that made them dangerous. The final trial was announced at dawn, but its details were hidden. That alone was enough to make the galaxy uneasy. King Tharok stood before the gathered council and declared that the third trial would be the oldest and most sacred of all Varkesh tests. He spoke of tradition, honor, and law. His voice was strong, but those who knew him well could see the anger beneath it. Captain Daniel Reyes was brought to a preparation chamber beneath the palace. His body was still recovering. Bruises covered his arms and legs. His ribs ached with every breath, yet his eyes were clear. Princess Sarilith entered the chamber alone. "The final trial is called the Chamber of Command," she said quietly. "It was used long ago to judge kings." Daniel listened carefully. "It tests obedience," she continued. "Not strength, not survival, obedience to authority, even when that authority is unjust." Daniel understood at once. "He wants me to kneel," he said. Sarilith nodded. "He wants you to break, publicly." She hesitated, then did something no one expected. She handed Daniel a small data shard. "This contains the original laws of the trial," she said, "unaltered." Daniel looked at her in surprise. "If he finds out, he already believes he controls the outcome," she said. "He does not believe a human could use the law against him." Daniel closed his fingers around the shard. "Thank you." Sarilith met his eyes. "If you survive," she said slowly, "everything will change, not just for you, for all of us." Daniel gave a faint smile. "That's usually how it goes." The Chamber of Command was revealed to the public at midday. It was a vast circular room made of black stone and living metal. Symbols glowed faintly along the walls. At the center stood a single platform surrounded by energy fields. Above it, a throne-like structure hovered, empty. Daniel was led to the center platform and locked in place by invisible restraints. He could move his head and arms but not step away. King Tharok appeared on a high balcony looking down. "The rules are simple," the king announced. "The challenger will receive commands. He must obey them. Each refusal will increase the chamber's pressure and pain fields. Obedience brings relief. Disobedience brings suffering," the crowd murmured. "And the goal?" an alien noble asked. Tharok smiled. "Endurance, until the challenger kneels and accepts his place." Daniel felt the chamber activate around him. A low hum filled the air. "Begin," Tharok said. The first command came immediately. "Kneel." Daniel did not move. Pressure pressed against his body, not crushing but painful, like standing beneath heavy water. He breathed through it. The second command followed. Declare humanity inferior. Daniel raised his head. I will not. The pressure increased. Pain flared along his spine and joints. He gritted his teeth but remained standing. Across the galaxy, viewers leaned closer to their screens. Third command. Swear loyalty to the Varkesh Dominion. Daniel laughed once, short and dry. No. The chamber reacted violently. Energy surged. Daniel cried out as pain tore through his nerves. His vision blurred. Blood trickled from his nose. Princess Sarilith clenched her fists. Enough, she whispered, though no one could hear her. King Tharok watched calmly. You see, he said to the council, they resist only until pain teaches them truth. But Daniel did not kneel. Minutes stretched into an hour. Command after command came, each more humiliating than the last. Each refusal brought greater suffering. Daniel's body shook. His breathing grew ragged. Still, he stayed upright. At last, King Tharok leaned forward. Final command, he said. Accept my mercy. Kneel and live. Daniel lifted his head slowly. His voice was weak but steady. You misunderstand humans, he said. We kneel only when we choose to. He raised his arm with great effort and pressed the data shard into the chamber's control panel. The room went silent. Symbols along the walls flickered. The hum faltered. What did you do? Tharok roared. Daniel spoke loudly now, forcing his words out through pain. I invoked the original law of the Chamber of Command. The walls lit up, projecting ancient text across the room. Princess Sarilith stepped forward. The law states that a challenger who resists unjust command without malice is judged worthy of leadership, she said. Not obedience. The council erupted. This trial was never meant to break, Daniel continued. It was meant to reveal who should never rule. The chamber's restraints disengaged. Daniel collapsed to one knee, not in surrender but exhaustion. A clear tone sounded through the hall. Trial 3 completed. For a moment no one spoke. Then King Tharok screamed in rage. Lies, tricks, he cheated. Princess Sarilith turned to the council, her voice strong. My father altered the trial. He violated royal law. The chamber itself has judged him. The ancient system responded. Energy fields surrounded King Tharok's balcony, locking him in place. The crowd gasped. Daniel struggled to stand. Sarilith moved to his side, supporting him. By royal law, she declared, the challenge stands. The human has won. She looked at Daniel, then at the galaxy watching. But I am not a prize, she said. I choose. She faced Daniel. I choose to stand with you, as an ally, as an equal. Daniel nodded slowly. That's the only way I'd accept. The council voted quickly. King Tharok was stripped of his authority, his rule ended by his own challenge. Across the galaxy, the image spread. A human, broken and bleeding, refusing to kneel. A princess choosing justice over blood. From that day forward, humanity was no longer mocked as weak. They were remembered as the species that could not be ruled by fear, and the galaxy would never forget it.